Hello, everybody, and welcome to Roll20 Presents Tomb of Annihilation. Let me be the first to wish you all a very happy 22nd episode. Yes, that's right. We've been doing this for 22 weeks. How's it going, everybody? I want to start, Elf. I need to ask you, how's day 2 going?
It sucks. But today, coffee.
Right, okay. All right, okay. All right. So for those of you who may not know, our dear Ishi Snaggletooth is engaging in a process of drinking not so much the soda, which I'm very proud of you. Not because I think drinking soda is bad or anything, but because anyone trying to do or not do anything, it's good luck. It's a
Listen,
challenge.
I was drinking almost a 2 liter a day. It was like real bad. Yeah, this is a real bad situation. So this is necessary for my benefit. What I have noticed, I'm already eating more. There's like no calories in water, but there is in soda.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So,
So you're replacing it with coffee. So you don't have you're
no,
not feeling like sleepy and grumpy.
The coffee is done because I didn't want the caffeine headache right now. But water in this cup for the foreseeable forever.
Yeah. Cool. Day 2's coping mechanisms. We'll check in with you again next week, see how it's going. Keep on it. Good work. How is that? I was going to ask you about your con experience there, little fucks, but you got a mouthful of rations. I'll let you finish.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
How's it going? You're in beautiful Colorado enjoying a convention. Folks at home, Andrew has made time in their busy convention schedule to come and play this game with us. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it maps perfectly to the afternoon slot.
Yeah.
Which is 2 to 6 local time. So
how is the rest of the con gone?
Well, I went and said hi to everyone,
and
then we did the kind of little scrum to schedule things out. So I've got a couple of things booked. I'm gonna sign up for some more things probably tomorrow morning, but it's shaping up to be pretty nice.
Nice.
I'm doing my usual dirtbag back panel organizing of at least one game. So
Excellent. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, I find that with very heavily scheduled cons, I usually will just not be able to bother scheduling anything, and I'll be like, well, I'll just show up and we'll just see what happens, I guess.
Something will come of it, I guess. Yeah.
Do you have any weird LARPs in your con schedule this year?
No, this is not a very LARP heavy con because it's very small. I think some folks played
weird LARPs
today, but
no.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool. Well, I'm glad you're having a good time. And it's got one more full day after this one, right?
No, it was like Thursday night, Friday all day, Saturday all day, Sunday all day.
Oh, so it's the whole weekend. That's right. Yeah.
It's the whole weekend. Yeah, it's a big one. So I'll still get lots of chances to play.
Primo. Yeah, for anyone who hasn't attended like a small local tabletop role-playing game con, I've had nothing but good experiences with them. My favorite one is Go Play Northwest, which is in Seattle in the summer. But those little cons are always so much fun. So definitely try and find one in your neighborhood. And if you don't have one, then find one like I do across the border where actual people live, because I guess no one lives in Vancouver.
It's weird for me because those smaller conventions I get like more social anxiety about.
Yeah.
Because they're like more personal, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you have like more of a personal connection to a smaller con for sure.
Yeah. I just don't like doing stuff with strangers, so I'm like about big cons. So I like Go Play because I kind of know everybody. But yeah, I tend to like those little ones better. But going to cons is fun, regardless. I think of whether you go to the big ones or the small ones. It's a thing that I would suggest to everybody try out at least once in their life. It's good stuff.
I gotta figure out my con plans this year. I haven't done anything yet.
Yeah. Are you gonna come out to Go Play?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Certainly.
Yeah, I had a good time last year. It was good stuff. That's cool. Blue Jay, what have you been up to since yesterday or last week?
In real life stuff, I'm almost done completely unpacking all of the things that I moved here, which is a really good feeling because I don't even think at my last place that I ever had like a place where everything goes, like you kind of, because I was only at my last place for like 9 months. So you kind of just like dump things somewhere and say, I'll get to that. But I'm working really hard at trying to not do that and actually like find a place for everything and everything in its place, For like work kind of stuff. I've been playing a lot of Surviving Mars, which is really fun. I'm enjoying that. I've actually the other morning I was watching one of my friends play it, and she was having the same trouble that I had with the beginning, how the tutorial just isn't very like at all there, and it's hard to figure out how to start things up. And so I was like, just call me up on Discord and I'll be your tutorial. And I was joking, but she like called me on it, and that was really fun. So
That's cool.
yeah.
That's cool. And that's by the same company that does Stellaris.
It's by the same publisher that does Stellaris. The company, it's by the same company that does City Skylines.
Yes. I always thought that was an interesting thing. You see it in movies a lot, where they'll be like, from the producers of, and you're like, great, the same people paid for this, I guess, as the other people. It's very confusing when a production company will put out like two very different things, but put their name on both in a prominent way. So you're like, oh, I like this one game, and you play the other one, you're like, what in the name of God is going on here? This is insane. So you're digging it. You're gonna keep playing it next week, you think?
Yeah. I'm at a point where I'm kind of like mid-game on my first colony, and I'm currently trying to figure out where because there's obviously a lot of complexity in city builders, but it just comes down to learning. So I'm looking forward to making huge mistakes and killing everyone.
Perfect. That's what a mission to Mars should be like.
Yeah.
Huge mistakes, killing everyone. You're gonna be the Elon Musk of the imaginary future.
Well, and the best thing with city games is you always find out way too late that you've made some like fundamental flaw in your design.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hour 6, I realized that I should have laid out my streets in this totally different way. Okay, great. Well, it's stuck like that now, which I guess is true to real cities as well.
Unless I'd like to demolish the whole thing.
Listen, I can't even get through a game of Mini Metro without horribly screwing something up. And in that game, you're allowed to rebuild all the subways. So, like, I can't even imagine trying to build a real, actual city that people live in and use. Because no, thank you. I'll imagine fantasy lands instead of real ones. I'm out on the real shit. Yep.
Personally, Space Empires. That's where it's at.
There you go. That's where it's at. You got it.
Yeah, the Stellaris Apocalypse expansion. I saw Elf had some real good fights in that.
The best clip ever of my stream may exist now. I think it's probably the best clip ever. That doesn't have me saying something really compromising.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, because I've been in some streams with you where you've said some compromising shit. Yeah.
Something about liking being surrounded by dudes.
Yeah, I believe that's the one.
There was another thing about fisting.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Stop.
Watch Elf long enough, and see. I was gonna go the classy route and not call it out, but that's fine. Blue Jay.
No, I'm not classy at all. It's fine.
So Dave, between last episode and this one, how many alternate backup characters have you made?
Well, since I haven't rolled them, like technically none.
No, technically. But in your mind,
I think I've settled on like 3 or 4 that I'm pretty into. But I'm just not scared of falling off a mountain and dying anymore.
That's good. It's good to not be afraid of it.
By episode 10. After that, I'm like, nah, Adam's giving me plot armor. I'll be fine.
Oh, is that how it is?
And then Malik dies.
Yeah, rude. Well, I mean, you are climbing a very tall
It turns out that Kirsabal is a dangerous place to fall off.
Yeah, weirdly. The Aarakocra are like, welcome to Kirsabal, but not you. And they just push you off a cliff.
Pick you up with their talons and just throw you over.
Just shove.
You actually have reverse plot armor. He's just going to arbitrarily kill you for the reasons of the plot, even though the mechanics are demanded.
I always like there's a few I've played a few games in my day that have like luck mechanics, because as a GM the one thing, and I've actually this will be good to introduce the NPC reaction thing that I just added to our game, but I feel like there are certain circumstances in which you kind of need to just know like a random person for something to happen to, or when someone asks something that's not based on skill or any knowledgeable thing in the world, but just like randomly, I guess it could or could not be true. Some games have luck mechanics where it's like, well, if a bad thing has to happen, it happens to the person with the worst luck. But in that absence, you can always add tables. So this session for random encounters, if you see a table result, that shows NPC reaction. I've built that table using a table from my favorite version of Dungeons & Dragons, Moldvay Basic. Put that together and I threw it in this game. So this way, when I'm rolling random encounters and I don't know how they might start, I'm going to just roll on that table. So you'll see things like uncertain, monster confused, or immediate attack. And that'll help me kind of randomize that stuff. So keep an eye out for those.
Cast Fireball on Malik.
Yeah, I actually added that as a part of the table. Yeah.
I mean, the party has been rolling on that table secretly, Adam, this whole time. That's why some of it has seemed a little weird that sometimes we just fight right away, but it's because we rolled.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Instantly attack.
Table rolling.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do the thing, shall we? Let's introduce our characters and jump into it. So, Distracted Elf, tell us about Ishi Snaggletooth real quick.
Do I really need any further introduction than I have ever had in this particular situation? Easy Snaggletooth, Kobold Fighter, Battlemaster, level 5, best Kobold you've ever met, ever.
I mean, I think that's probably true. I think that's a true statement. Down below Ishi Snaggletooth, Andrew, tell us about Little Fox.
Little Fox is a barbarian. She's big, tall, furbolg, and she likes birds that aren't people. We'll see how she likes people birds. Jury's still out.
All right, we'll see. We'll see who gets thrown off Kirsabal today. Seemingly, supposedly invincible. Dave, tell us a little bit about Malik.
Sure. Yeah. Malik is a human sorcerer. He has a draconic bloodline. That's how he gets his sorcery powers. And his favorite thing to do is fire things.
Yes, a fireball at any and every opportunity. Yeah.
Yep. When everything looks like a crater. I'm not sure how to finish that.
To a man with a fireball, all the world is a goblin.
Yeah. Malik the Incineratrix. And then rounding out the party, the fishiest boy. Congratulations, by the way, on winning the Oscar. Nice work, Arcturus.
Yeah, I in between all of this adventuring in Chult, I ran into this guy named Guillermo. Fucking weird. But you know, he filmed a documentary about my erstwhile romance with a human, and it was great.
Yeah, so listen, every adventurer at some point in their life, takes some time off to star in some questionable student films. It's fine.
I was gonna say, what you're saying is Arcturus has a real nice butt.
Yes.
I believe that's canon. I think.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Yes.
As far as D&D goes, though, statistically, what's Arcturus' deal?
Statistically, we're 0 for 0 on wooing the ladies.
Right, the only important stat that matters.
Yeah.
Attempted romances succeed, fail.
Yeah. I mean,
thankfully, in Dungeons & Dragons, you don't get experience points for romance. There's no XP for love. So
okay, I'm a level 5 Triton Tempest cleric. There you go.
There we go. That's the good stuff.
How brutal a statement. There's no XP.
You don't get XP for falling in love, fools. You get XP for murder times.
I'm all melancholy now.
Yeah, I love it.
Dave, I love it. So you, the group of you, we probably begin episode 22 with an establishing shot of Kir Sabal. Kir Sabal being the kind of mountainous plateau. There are several of these of varying sizes. Kind of we've seen them throughout the show so far. Bits of rock that sort of jut up out of the jungle, pillar-like. Some are large enough to contain small towns atop them. Others so small that they have only a fire and some terrafolk. This guy is like medium size. This is Kir Sabal, an ancient monastery, supposedly or seemingly sacred to Ubtao, though like many other things sacred to Ubtao, it doesn't respond to yelling the way you might expect. And this one is occupied after the fact by a flock probably, of Aarakocra, and they live amidst the temple, and they are led by an elder Aarakocra called the Teacher, who you are yet to meet. Now, as you climb the arduous steps, made your way up and have been escorted into the cleansing chamber, I think we now see you ready to ascend and to go into the monastery proper. So.
Yeah, we just cleansed ourselves, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We just saw you anoint yourself with the sacred dust, and so everybody, I think, is climbing up the ladder into the second chamber up above, the cleansing chamber, and we see you covered in gold dust emerge into the upper area of the room. So in this room, once you ascend here, this area has a wooden shelf on one side, and on it there are candles. They're not currently lit because it's daytime. There are some candles piled up. They're currently out. There is a statue, Ishi, near where you're standing. A wooden statue whose obvious age and use has long worn away any features. You can tell that it's basically human in shape, right? You can kind of make out a head and some shoulders, but it's been touched so much and over so much time that it now just has been worn perfectly smooth. At its feet, there is a pile of flowers, and in varying states of decay, there are fruits and other sort of plant offerings that seem to have been brought up and left here. The shrine additionally has on the side where you're standing, Arcturus, there is a box of what looks like fabric, just a big box of fabric, and you can hear the flapping of wings outside as the Aarakocra come up to the next level and land on the bridge outside.
Hey, Arcturus,
Yes.
what do we do now?
Well, is there any indicator of like if there's another thing that we should be doing? Like Little Fox last time was the one that figured out what to do with the various powders. But
You could make a religion check if you wanted.
yeah, I want to see if there's something that we're supposed to do in this room before we go outside and they hate us for not doing it. 6. So
No, this does not. None of this stuff seems to be the accoutrement of any Aarakocran religion that you know, right? Like the Aarakocrans they worship a group of like a pantheon of deities known as the Wind Dukes, who are the like lords of the elemental plane of air, and this is not their jam as far as you can tell.
This religious periphery is not familiar to me.
Little Fox, you immediately intuit that the box is the ritual vestments, like scarves. They're like a thin material. They're scarves or veils, and that there is a you're meant to like conceal yourself in them before you proceed.
Yeah, so Little Fox will walk over to the box and pull one out, and she'll put one on Ishi first because she doesn't trust Ishi to like do it
Hey,
right.
what the?
Listen, it says on the box, please put on your own veil before assisting others.
In case of the apocalypse.
In case of religious emergency, veils will drop from the ceiling.
And so, yeah, she like wraps up Ishi in a, traditional. It's probably in a manner that is not perfectly in keeping with the
Not the
tradition
way
that
this
this would be
should
from,
be.
but something similar that Little Fox knows herself. She'll like wrap her up and then throw one on.
Mhm.
And I think that Arcturus would be like, how is it that you're familiar with about have you encountered these Chult and Aarakocra before? Or
and just a very large hand pushes a scarf into his chest. And no words.
Ah,
And Little Fox is gonna like peek out the door and check out what's next.
I think this might be too many scarves.
Right, so we look over at Ishi, and Ishi, you look like a Dark Souls character. Like you're just like your whole hand is like wrapped, and you just see your little eyes
Well, because
poking
you
out.
can't put like a veil because she's got like a snout,
Yeah.
right? So it doesn't really work. You gotta like wrap it in scarf.
Yeah,
I mean, it works. Your features are obscured.
Mm.
I wonder because I'm already wearing very similar garb, so probably don't want to take mine off, but I take one of the scarves and just like put it over the bottom layer.
Yeah. You already have your headscarf part on, right? Your hair is covered, so it's easy enough to integrate a veil into that. So just covering yourself from the eyes down.
Yep.
Yeah. So it already fits right into your outfit already.
Sweet.
Cool. Okay, so let me move you outside so we can get another quick look at the outside section. There's another set of stairs climbing up to the main monastery building. You'll be able to enter in through the side. And this monastery, the outside of it, is basically covered in aarakocra. There's like a dozen or more of them perched up on the roof, out on this balcony, and they're watching you with great curiosity. Their bright plumage shining in the light, and they all just kind of like watch as you climb up the stairs and enter into the monastery itself. So you're going to be coming in from the side. So you enter a small room over yonder, right here.
there's a lot of rooms on this map.
Yeah. So y'all can't see it because the map is intentionally designed to like obfuscate certain things from you. But yeah, it's broken down into sections. There's the main map of Kirsabal in the center, and then there's smaller maps all around it. So this area, you've entered into the monastery. You're in the lower section of it, and this room is seems like maybe a meeting room. It has a large table, and when you walk in, there are a couple of what look like aarakocra like monks. They're wearing simple robes over their chest, obviously freeing their arms and legs and letting their wings emerge. But yeah, they're all standing around in the room, and they don't look surprised. They see you come in, and they all look at you judgingly, right? Kind of looking and making sure that you're properly sanctified before you come in. And I think you, Little Fox, you did a good job. You got some pretty good rolls on your religion, and so they just nod, and one nearest the door puts a red feathered hand on the door and pushes it open and allows you to proceed through.
I think we did it.
So yeah, the group of you proceed into what must be the main chamber. This is the prayer hall. It's the main hall of the monastery. The rafters of the ceiling area are a full 60 feet above you. And then there's the thatched roof, another 15 feet above that. It's a big sort of empty interior tower. There are stairs that lead up across the room. And on the floor, as soon as you walk in, you see the massive circular labyrinth symbol of Ubtao. When you come in, you hear decidedly human-sounding footsteps run up the stairs, like someone is like taking off up the stairs, like someone small. It's not like big like thumping footsteps, but you hear like the slap of bare feet as someone scrambles up the stairs when you come in.
So it's a bear.
Yes. Yeah. There's a couple of aarakocra out on the little patio. The wind kind of drifts through this place. It's very airy, and right in front of you, there's an elder-looking aarakocra who is sweeping dust off of the floor out towards the balcony, and he looks up when you come in.
Little Fox, should I? It's the symbol thing, right? Tower, right? Should I do the?
And Little Fox nods. That's the first bit. Yes, this is the symbol of Ubtao.
Should I do the thing?
No.
Is that what I'm supposed to do? Like, you know?
Nope. No, just nope. Not this time.
And Arcturus is like looking around and taking it in, and then like Ishi says that, and I think he like clears his throat and steps forward a little and says to the Aarakocran elder in common so that everyone else can hear. We appreciate being allowed into your monastery. I'm not accustomed with Aarakocra who worship as you do. I would love to learn more about your customs here.
The Aarakocra squints his parody eyes at you, and he says in Aarakocran, as he shakes his head, he says, "Not worship. We follow the Wind Dukes, but this is a sacred place. All sacred places should be respected. We keep it for those who are gone."
So you keep up this place for...
He looks up, and you see someone up on the balcony above with little like child's hands. It's a little kid. He's little dark skinned hands, big white eyes like staring through the bars down at you. But he's dressed like an Aarakocra. He's got a cloak of mismatched feathers. He's got a little hat with a beak sticking up off the top. And his are the bare feet you heard running up the stairs. You startled him. He ran away. And he's just peering through down at you. And this Aarakocra just looks up at him and looks back. Those who are gone and those who hope to return.
I give him a little wave.
He makes a squawking noise and runs off up the stairs.
The kid?
Yeah. He's like, ah! And like, flap, like runs up these other stairs and then up at the next level.
Interesting.
But it was definitely a human kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Is there a place here where you worship the Wind Dukes? I would love to pay my respect.
He looks up. Closest to the sky.
Is it accessible to those who do not fly?
He nods, and he says, "No temple, no shrine, but the open sky up above."
Of course.
What about this teacher? You wouldn't happen to be him, would you?
He laughs, and it's like this is the thing. Like, it sounds like a bird mimicking human laughter. So it's this very, very like squawky kind of like ha, ah, ah, ah. And he says, it's funny, he understands common, but Arcturus, you're having to translate everything. He doesn't speak it.
Oh, okay.
So Arcturus is having to translate. And he says, no. The teacher is great, wise, and old. I am just a monk. Sweeping with the broom.
And yeah, like Arcturus relays it and then says, did they say to Malik, did they say we were to meet with this teacher? Or what was his name? Nafir?
Yeah, Nafir is your friend that you saved.
Yeah. But they
Yeah,
said,
Nafir is on patrol.
yeah. Oh, a clarification for
last
me
time.
from last time. We were going to meet with this teacher person. That was what we were brought into.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
For. Okay.
They mentioned them.
May we meet with this teacher then, if you are not them?
He nods and says, "If the teacher did not wish to see you, you would not be here." And he looks at the steps. It's basically, he's like, "Go on ahead."
Right.
Okay, more stairs. Great.
Yeah, so little fox will lead the way.
Okay. So you start to climb the stairs. You come to the bottom of this set of stairs, and you see someone standing at the top, two someones, in fact, standing at the top of the stairs. One is a woman, barely more than a girl, and she's standing looking down the steps imperiously, like she's been waiting for you to come up. And so as she hears you coming, you can kind of see her like adjust her pose. She has a cloak of feathers, but no like hat. And then hiding behind her is that young boy. I've got a handout. Let me show it to you.
Yeah.
So there they are. And the girl, she puts her hand out and she says in common, "Where do you think you're going?"
I want a cloak of feathers real bad.
Yeah.
And the fox just like indicates, like points behind them.
And she
Doesn't say anything.
She shakes her head and she says, "Not before you pay proper homage." And the kid behind her is just like making like nervous little bird sounds.
Praise Ubtao.
She shakes her head and looks at you and she says, "Foolish kobold, Ubtao is gone. Praise to me, Queen of Chult." And she like grins.
Okay, praise to you.
And she like tips her head back like, "Yeah, damn right." And what about the rest of you?
As a kobold, I have no problem.
No, totally, yeah.
Like, oh, you're Queen of Chult? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And what about the rest of you? Do you not bow before your queen?
I'm not Chulton, but are you the teacher we have come to?
No, she isn't.
And
No,
Little
she
Fox is
doesn't
walking,
just
like
say-
walks up the stairs and is
she-
just
yeah.
like right.
Yeah,
next to you now.
You walk up to her, and you're at eye level, even though you're standing like 2 stairs below her.
Yeah.
And she like stares at you, and she says, "You are a fiery one, aren't you? You do not kneel before the queen?"
No queens. And she crosses her arms.
"This is my country. You may not recognize me. I am queen in exile. I am called Moxanare, and you should be bowing before me. I am royal blood."
Can I history and see if she's just making that up? Or...
Yes, it'll be a difficult history check, but
Can I insight
This
and
is some
see if she's,
obscure
like,
history.
making that up?
I love obscure history.
you can fork religious doctrine. Yeah, I don't think so. I know 19 is a big number, but it's not 20. Yeah, something like, yeah, I don't think, there's no answer in your mind.
Can I?
Arcturus, you want to make an insight check? Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to I'm not concerned with is there actually a queen in exile, but more like, is this person pulling her legs?
She seems to believe what she's saying.
I'm already employing the path of least resistance, and I've got my head bowed, going
Okay, can I go?
And so Little Fox has crossed after saying no queens, crossed her arms. She'll just not roughly, but just gently reach out and just push little kid aside with her big meaty arm, and then take a step up.
So you're just gonna push the queen out of the way.
Yeah, I'm just okay.
So she just she doesn't do anything, but she huffs and she's like, "How dare you touch me? I'm appalled." And she's just making a big deal, but doesn't do anything as you walk by. And she says, "I will not forget your rudeness to me."
And I think,
and you walk past her.
And just walk by.
Because Little Fox was I think that pushes Arcturus over the what to do edge, and he quickly does some sort of wavy motion that is a half bow, half
the awkward trying to bow and walk at the same time.
Something else, and he's just so sorry. Little Fox's, people aren't her strong suit. My sincerest apologies. And he's doing a little too much probably, but
she likes it though. Too much isn't enough for her. Who's okay, Malik, do you walk past her? Everybody's kind of awkwardly shuffling past her.
Yeah.
I do a little bow and I say, though in exile, I am happy to see that you have managed to continue your regal countenance and found a people who will provide for you, even in your exile.
And she's still glaring past her at Little Fox, and she says, "The royal bloodline will remember those who slighted us and those who were good." And she like looks over at Ishi.
Yeah. I'm
imagining Ishi as the like first knight of the kingdom of Chult. Ishi Snaggletooth.
yeah.
Wait a second. I can kobold my way through this like with the most aplomb of anyone because I have grovel, cower, and
Hell
beg.
yeah, you do.
So, unlike Little Fox, who doesn't bow at all, I apologize for the rudeness of everyone by like throwing myself at her
Okay.
feet.
Yeah. Do you have a role for? I mean, what does your
I
groveling
don't.
ability do?
What it does is
It's a combat thing, right?
everybody within 10 feet of me gets advantage against her, basically.
Right. Okay. Well, why don't you roll a persuade
Like,
check, Ishi?
She is distracting.
Roll a persuade check at advantage.
Okay. Hang on. I gotta open this. There we go.
This non-combat groveling
Yeah.
that's happening.
Nice, 19. Okay. She looks at you and in an obvious act of like mercy, she says, "Your little friend has appeased my royal wrath for now. I will accompany you up above to see the teacher." And she turns to the kid and she's like, "You see, little brother, this is how you govern. You must teach them to respect you." And he just looks at her like, "Bark," and like makes a little bird noise. And she rolls her eyes and she's just like, ugh. And then she follows after you as you continue to ascend. So up above, there's another door that leads out of the top level of the monastery, and eventually, I won't bother bringing you to the map, but eventually you follow the stairs. I'll put you on this one so you can see the outside. So y'all all six of you ascend the stairs up to the final area of Kirsabal, a much more humble building, in which you see a simple set of stairs, and in that empty room there is a shrine, another shrine. There is a sort of ratty mattress underneath the stairs, and a wooden statue that looks like part human, part like leopard or panther. It doesn't have any markings, so you can't really tell. And it has its hands out like in a scary, like I'm attacking kind of way. And I think if you want somebody in the group to make a religion check with advantage to see if anybody recognizes it.
It's Ooptow.
Is it Ooptow? Yes.
Hello, Ooptow.
Nice, yeah. This time, not so much, Little Fox, not so much. So, yeah, Malik, I think you recognize it because it's the same figure that was the stone golem on the bridge. It's the exact same figure. You recognize it as being of about the same age, though this one has been kept inside because it's made of wood, and it's been lovingly like polished and cared for. And it even like as you walk into them, you can smell the oil that's used to like keep its surface clean and shiny. It's a very well loved ancient statue of Ubtao. Yeah, but as for any other like religious subtext, you don't know. And I think you hear. Also the floor, like this place looks pretty ratty. The floor has like a hole in it. You have to walk around to get to the stairs. And when you walk in, a very old, sort of faded-looking Aarakocra steps in from the balcony. Arcturus, you would guess she's probably like reaching the end of her lifespan. Her eyes are sort of clouded over and pale. Her feathers, there are places where the feathers are just missing. She seems like she might still be able to fly, but she's very old and wizened. And she comes in, and she looks at the group of you and just kind of like cocks her head, and you can see her like taking the measure of you.
I'm still doing that. Like I noticed a statue, and I put my hands up, and I do the whole like, please don't push me off this as well.
Right, the statue comes to life and just bats you out the window.
Not this time, Octal.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
that like
I'm good.
recognizing her like great age, Arcturus probably politely says, thank you for making the time to meet us. And then like is kind of just like name question mark.
So the elder hears you say that and says in common, why have you come to Kirsabal?
Well, we rescued a warrior named Nafir.
And you have come to collect your treasure. Your reward, is that it?
No, actually.
Oh.
I spent years of my life among the Aarakocra on the plane of air and am very fond of them in general. Have not met your what would be like flock tribe group.
Yeah,
Thing,
your
specific
I have not met your collective noun.
exactly.
collective noun specifically, and wished to.
You come to Kirsabal armed with hammer and sword. Come smelling of battle and fire. You bring trouble to our roost.
The jungle is very dangerous.
You. And she like takes a couple of like lurching steps forward, like pokes you in the chest. You smell of fish. We eat fish around here, stranger. You say you know our ways. Ah! Just like turns away from you.
I also eat fish.
Might we perhaps meet with your master, the teacher, at some point?
And she turns. She's like,
Damn.
and like takes a couple of steps forward towards you, and she says, "Disrespectful man, coming in here, pushing me around, saying I'm not teacher. How do you know? How do you know you have not upset the leader of Kirsabal? And she like getting all up in your face, like poking on you.
I do not think somebody who would take many years of their life and lead their flock to keep sacred a monastery not belonging to their own would be so distrustful of outsiders.
You can see her like squint at you. She's like, her feathers are all puffing up. And then she laughs. She's like, ha, 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 ha. Clever boy, clever, yes. And like pokes you again. She says, no, I am not the teacher. Just an old servant. Ying Matona will show you the way. Ashara waits above. She like looks up the stairs. And
A bow and
yeah.
like thanks.
And Ying Matona says, go on up. And you see behind you, Moxanare is just like watching, like she knew, right? And she wasn't saying anything. And her, the little kid next to her was also like, he has his hands over his mouth, like he was trying to just be like, it's not her, but is like keeping quiet.
I think there's probably like an anecdotal sort of like,
Yeah, my friends are pretty smart.
like back to those two.
All right. So you ascend then to the highest, the uppermost chambers of Kirsabal. You're a good 700 feet off the ground. There's a small landing up above, and there's another room with a door open. And when your footsteps, I guess who's the first one up the stairs?
I feel like it'd be either Arcturus or Malik, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is Arcturus' show, really. Normally he would take the lead when we're talking to people, but Arcturus
you want to lead the way?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you ascend the stairs. There's a door open. You can smell incense wafting from the other room. And then you hear a voice in common from the other room say, visitors, come in. I hope Ingmatora was not too rude to you. And you can hear it coming from the other room. It's just nearby.
Yeah, I guess I go in, and like while entering and looking around, be like, no, of course not.
Okay. So you
Like
look around.
trying to be polite.
Yeah, you look around the corner as you enter the room, and everybody follows in, and eventually you'll all file into this little room. So the room and actually the like landing and all like the stone walls are decorated with frescoes of floral design. But you also notice, Malik, I think because you're probably the first one to notice it. The flowers are geometrical, like mathematical in very specific ways. Like you see the golden ratio in a bunch of the like blossoms, the way that the leaves are formed create like isosceles triangles. It's a very, like it would have taken a lot of math to create these frescoes in the way that they are. But anybody sort of squinting at them or just looking at them, they might not notice that necessarily. But I think that because of magic and stuff, you're familiar with the arcane, something about it kind of twigs to your attention. The room that Ashara is in is it appears to be a library. There is a wall with several dozen large leather-bound books up on one wall, and there is seated in the middle of the room. There is an Aarakocra woman, which I will show to you, with beautiful fiery red plumage and a like it's not a robe, but like a wrap. And then she's got a big like necklace of polished wood and gemstones. And you come in, and she nods at each of you. And Aarakocra can't really smile, but Arcturus, you know enough about their body language to know that she's like open and friendly and is like excited to see you. Her feathers are like poofed up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It is our great pleasure to be invited to meet you. I am Arcturus Vuvaxith. This is Malik Al-Garib, Little Fox, and the great kobold duelist Ishi Snaggletooth. And there's a little like smirk as like Arcturus knows that like Ishi would like that.
She's immediately just like straighter in her posture.
Which is hard to do because your body is like tilted forward, right?
Yeah.
Kobolds don't so much run as they scramble or use your front legs too.
We are scrabblers.
So as you introduce yourself, Arcturus, Ashara says, I had wondered, and she's speaking common, if you were going to find your way to our humble monastery. Nafir told me what you did for him, and for that we are thankful. What is it you seek in Chult? These are dangerous lands for outsiders.
We have been tasked with investigating the cause of the death curse. So that's what we're doing here.
And she looks at you and kind of cocks her head. Death curse.
Yes, it was has been interfering with the effects of restoration spells, resurrection, creating some problems for those who have been
yes. The rotting darkness that comes from Omu. We know of it. And she looks at Moxanare when she's saying that. And then Moxanare says, she looks like she wants to say something, and Ashara interrupts her or speaks before she has a chance. And she says, you have met Her Royal Highness and the Prince?
Briefly.
Yes.
And Moxanare just sort of like glowers a little bit. You can tell that she's uncomfortable. So there's some subtext here you're not picking up. And so Ashara says, Moxanare and Na are guests of Kir Sabal, our wards until such time they can be reinstated.
I am an outsider and was not aware that there were rulers in exile here in Chult. It's very interesting. I would love to learn more.
The great betrayal of the serpent, Ras and Sea. Much death in Omu. Once a great, beautiful city, now. She's like somberly like shakes her head at the loss. These children, all that is left of that noble line. And you can see Moxonari trying really hard not to like tear up. And her brother, Na, is just kind of like clucking and like just doing little kid bird stuff.
Yeah.
He's got his little helmet thing down. He's looking through the eyes of this like wooden bird mask. And he just kind of like looks up at you. Clucks.
It is part of our task. We have been sent from the Oracle in Oralunga to confront this Rasensi in Omu. It would be my great pleasure to do so, not just for our own causes, but also to avenge the loss of your family. He motions toward Moxonare.
Moxonare says, we must reclaim the royal seat at Omu. Only then can Chult acknowledge its queen, and we can rule once again. All Chultans await my return.
I never heard of you before this.
And she scowls. That is because our existence is a secret, and if you tell anyone before the appointed time, she like makes the throat.
Okay. You know, I'm not gonna tell anybody. I just wanted to know if it was a secret.
She says, we have many enemies in Chult and beyond. The Principality of Waterdeep, the Duchy of Am. Our enemies are many. But once we reclaim our throne, all rulers in the world will know. They will acknowledge Chult and its queen.
Of course.
So, never mind. Arcturus, you do the talking.
And I think that like Arcturus is just like, yep, whatever you say. Like, I would love to learn more about this thing, but like, I'm not gonna, like, Little Fox already did the like shoving thing. Like, we're just gonna be like, yep, this is great.
We have already demonstrated how completely hollow all of this boasting is.
Yeah. So Arcturus is like, he's interested, but not like, I'm not gonna second guess you right now, sort of thing. So he's probably just like nodding and following along, and then I think he says, like, as our journey must take us to Omu, anything that you can share about what happened there, or perhaps what is currently happening, would be very, very helpful.
Ashara says, Omu is a nest of snakes now. Aarakocra are wise enough to stay away from serpents such as Ras and Sea. But if you are brave and strong, you may yet survive. But Omu is a long way away through the jungle. There is a way we may be able to help you. Give you a path above the trees.
That sounds terrifying.
It's actually not that bad, like, once you get used to it. And Arcturus has probably like done this a bunch of times when he was like Mr. Anthropologist in the plane of air. So
any assistance, of course, would be most appreciated.
A test first. The ritual that I have in mind requires a black orchid, which can only be found in the gardens of Nangalore. If you could bring me this black orchid, I would give you my wings so that you could soar to your destination.
Nangalore.
You make a history check if you want to try to remember that.
Yeah.
Or whoever's got the best history can do it with advantage.
Look at Malik.
Red Stones is Nangalore.
Nangalore.
What do we know about Nangle?
Nangalore is an ancient Chultan myth. Like it's like you read about it in books, but no one has ever, like, no modern person has ever seen it. It's supposedly a beautiful garden that was built to honor an ancient Chultan queen. There's some like a curse or something there, or some tragedy, but you can't remember exactly what it is. But yeah, it's in the jungle, and it's an ancient garden. It'd be a great place for a mythical black orchid.
Right.
Interesting. In which case, I assume if you're aware of the orchid being there, it is, in fact, more than simply being a mythical place. It actually exists somewhere in the jungle.
She nods. Nangalore, yes. Not too far from Kirsabal. South and west.
And really far down.
She nods.
Well, it would be quite helpful for us to be able to fly to Omu to continue our quest and avenge your family. Nods to what's her butt?
Waxenari.
Moxonari. Yeah, there we go.
Old Queen, what's her face?
Yeah. So I'm sure if the Black Orchid is necessary for your task, we would be, and looks around to the rest of the party, like, happy to obtain it.
I'm not so happy about all the stairs we're gonna have to climb twice. Any way to circumvent that?
Ashara looks at you and, like, sort of clucks amusedly. You could grow wings.
I've been trying, but it's not that easy.
And then she says, you are welcome to rest here in Kirsabal. Nifir will return this evening, and I am sure he would love to speak with you.
Oh yeah, you should talk to that guy.
Please, there are many empty dwellings below. Find one and be comfortable there. I will send Nefir when he returns to speak with you again. Then go and find for me the Black Orchid of Nangalore. If you bring it back, I will teach you how to fly.
I have a small question. So far, I've been mapping the island. Aside from history, cartography has been a little side project. I seem to remember that this garden, Nangalore, being mythical, being secret, is important. Do you want it to stay that way?
She says, we do not go to Nangalore. It is too dangerous. If others wish to visit, it is their funeral.
All right. And I turn to the queen and bow a little and say, I remember it being sacred to a queen. I just wanted to make sure if it was supposed to be kept a secret.
Yeah, Waxenare grins and she says, yes, sacred to a lesser queen from another province. Perhaps once I have reclaimed my throne, I will take Nangalore back and restore it to its former glory. For the sake of Chult.
Then I suppose I would avail you of the map when it is on it, so that we know where, with the...
Yeah, do you want to show them your map?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of like tiptoeing around asking, like, do you know where it is exactly, or is it just in this?
Yeah. So on the map, she points like this direction. As she said, like somewhere like in that vicinity, sort of southwest of you. And Ashara says, the great garden required much water. It will not be far from the river Olang.
Arcturus grumbles like a sound that is just like, boats.
That certainly makes sense. All right.
Okay, so I think then you go and you find somewhere to rest, and you can make plans. And we'll take a break here, and when we come back, if you want to have a scene with Nafir that night when he returns, if you want to talk to Moxanare or Ashara anymore, we can do that, and you can prep to set out for Nangalore and retrieve the Black Orchid. So we will do that when we return. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.